Hey guys, welcome back to the video. I'm Luke, a CFA Charterholder, and in today's video we're going to discuss the principal-agent relationship when it comes to corporate issuers. So in a company scenario, the principal is the owner of the business, so the shareholders, and the agent is the senior management team who are acting for those owners and those shareholders. And a conflict can arise where the agents don't always in practice work in the best interest of the shareholders. So let's discuss how that relationship is formed and how that conflict can arise. Let's get into it. Okay, so companies, as we know, have many different stakeholders who have a vested interest in the performance of the company. And those stakeholder relationships are important for company managers to consider and manage. So I've outlined these relationships between all of the key stakeholders and the company itself on this slide. So I won't go through every relationship, but the key one to be aware of for this video is the principal-agent relationship, which is the relationship between the shareholders and the board of directors. So you see that the shareholders own shares in the company and have an ownership stake in the company, provide capital to the company, and they have a direct relationship with the board of directors because they appoint a board to execute the strategy of the business, to form the strategy of the business, and to act in the best interest of the shareholders. So without skipping ahead, the board of directors are the agent who are appointed to work on behalf of the shareholders who are the principal in the business because they are the owner of the company. So let's step back a moment and think a little bit about not just the principal-agent relationship in a company scenario, but just generally. Let's look at a few examples of how, in our day-to-day lives, principal-agent relationships can arise, and let's define it at a higher level. So a principal-agent relationship is created when a party, which is the principal, appoints another party, the agent, to act on their behalf, providing a service or performing a task. The principal needs something done and appoints a third party, an agent, to act on their behalf who's better placed to execute that action or that task. So the agent has, to the best of their ability, act in the best interest of the principal. So the agent, as part of the relationship, whether it's contractual or not, the agent is appointed and must always act in the best interest of their principal. And this is commonly known as the agency relationship, and that's how the curriculum refers to the principal-agent dynamic. And they can be created through contractual agreements, so in writing, and that will be underpinned by law, or principal-agent relationships can be just verbal agreements, and the rights and responsibilities of the agent are more expressed through words and actions that take place between the two parties. In a company scenario, obviously there'll be a contractual agreement in place, but just generally speaking, in the wider world, when a principal-agent relationship is formed, it can be contractual or it can be verbal. So that's worth knowing. So what are some examples of the principal-agent relationship that arise in our day-to-day life? So outside of corporate finance and outside of the CFA, what are some examples of principal-agent relationships that exist? So if you're selling your home, you can appoint a real estate agent to market it and sell it. So in that circumstance, the homeowner is the principal because they're the asset owner, they own the home, and the real estate agent is the agent because they're appointed on behalf of the homeowner to act in their best interest, market the property, maximize sale proceeds. So the real estate agent, as the name suggests, is the agent and the homeowner is the principal. So that's one example. Second example, so business owner who needs their books prepared will appoint an accountant. In this scenario, the accountant will be the agent and the business owner the principal, because the business owner will enter into a contractual relationship with the accountant and we're paying them to prepare their annual reports, financial statements and tax return. And then one final scenario, we have high net worth individual who appoints an investment manager to manage and grow their financial assets. So again, you're probably getting the gist of this now. the fund manager would be the agent because they are appointed on behalf of the client, which is the high net worth individual, to grow their wealth, invest their assets, and generate financial returns. So principal agent dynamics exist outside of a corporate finance scenario, but obviously for the focus of our studying and our work, we're going to focus in on the shareholder and company management dynamic. So in a company scenario, the shareholders are the principal. So the owners of the company are the principal, and the board of directors, who are appointed by the shareholders, are the agent. And they act on behalf of the shareholders and always in their best interest. And then below the board, so the board's made up of your executive directors and your independent directors. Below the board sits your executive management team, which includes the CEO, CFO, who also can sometimes sit on the board. And they are also agents who act on behalf of the shareholders. So you have your board and then your executive management team, and that extends all the way down to your employees, and their responsibilities are to act in the best interest of the owners of the company, and that involves maximising shareholder value. So what's the primary objective of a company? It's to maximise shareholder value. So what are the objectives of the senior management team within a company? To maximise shareholder value. So that's super important to be cognizant of. Shareholders appoint a board and a senior management team to act in their best interests, which in practice means maximising the value of the company, maximising the value attributable to shareholders. But we said that the principal-agent relationship is underpinned by the belief that agents always work in the best interests of the principal, but in a company scenario, that's not always the case. Managers of the company who are appointed and should act in the best interest of the company do not always. So in certain circumstances, they prioritise their own interests to the detriment of the interests of the shareholders. This creates the principal-agent conflict because the interests of the two parties can sometimes not align. Managers can act in their own best interest to further their own objectives and put the objectives of the shareholders to one side. And this issue arises because of something known as information asymmetry. So in a company scenario, managers possess more information than the shareholders. They know much more about the company and have an information disparity, which they can use to their advantage. They're involved in the day-to-day operations. They know everything about the financials of the company. They know more about the forward planning and what risks the company could face going forward. And this information asymmetry makes it very difficult for shareholders to always be able to verify that the management team are acting in their best interests. So a successful shareholder management relationship that can last many years and thrive has to be built upon deep trust that goes in both directions. Shareholders need to be able to trust the managers, and the managers need to use the information that they have to maximize company value and not for their benefit. So that's the principal-agent conflict in a nutshell. I'm about to record a video which explains and runs through some examples of how principal-agent conflicts can arise and what dynamics within a company can lead managers astray and to prioritize their own objectives. So yeah, feel free to check that out. Any questions, please let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next video.